$5 million a day.
Insane. Total insanity. It's mass insanity. Do I have a copy?
Do you have coffee?
Do I have a copy of that show? Oh, can you give it to my...
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Welcome to Talking Truth to Power, Nevada's Freedom Talk Radio, and also all over the world.
Yep, around the world.
And I'm your host, Brendan Trainor, my co-host, Leland Faegre, and behind the boards, Shanimal Lawson. And, well, it looks like it might snow. I know you're very happy.
Thrilled. Bring it on, yeah.
Yes, your Norwegian aspect is coming out there.
It's a little late this year, but better late than never. And we're not going to get too much, but it just sets up the season. It's very nice. All
right, well, as always, the hysteria over the coof is the lead.
Coof?
The coof. I like that. People are calling it the coof instead of COVID, you know. Is in the news, and one of the most articulate athletes I've ever seen, Orlando Magic star Jonathan Isaac.
I was impressed by that as well. Yeah, yes. Because most of them aren't articulate. So.
No, just want to help the team, you know, that kind of thing. But he gave. I mean, some of these people.
You do that really good.
Some of these people are truly, you know, college educated, and they didn't just go to basket weaving classes when they were on a scholarship, and he really showed it. And he said that he laid out the scientific and personal reasons to not get the jab, especially since he already had COVID. So he had natural immunity.
Right. So that's they didn't like that part.
No. they still can't. You still can't discuss it. And we saw an example of it. It might have been a little more than a week ago, but when Senator Rand Paul was questioning HHS Secretary Bissarara.
That's pretty good, yeah.
And he really laid it into him. Maybe we have that clip here.
This is an arrogance coupled with an authoritarianism that is unseemly and un-American. You, sir, are the one ignoring the science.
You, sir.
Quit lying to people about naturally acquired immunity. Quit lording it over people, acting as if these people are deplorable and unwashed. Try persuasion instead of government cudgels. Try humility instead of arrogance. Try freedom instead of coercion. But most of all, try understanding that there's no more basic medical right than deciding what we inject into our bodies.
Yeah, and that's really the truth. That's the basic issue is personal autonomy and freedom of choice.
I think that was a TKO.
Yes, exactly.
There was no comeback.
But he ignored him. You know, oh, well, we rely on the science, you know, Senator Paul. You know, that was his reply. And then, you know, there's other things going on. Our benevolent Jewish senator, Dianne Feinstein from Northern California.
She just happens to be Jewish.
Well, she happens to be Jewish, but, you know, the Jews are a compassionate people who just want to make the world safe.
That's right.
From a dangerous disease. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, they have to control our movements. It's always for the greater good.
Absolutely.
Yes. So she introduced a bill to ban the unvaxxed from flying.
Yes.
A right to get on a plane? I never heard of that right. I don't know.
Well, because she cares.
Yes,
she cares about people.
Yeah, she does. She cares that people don't use certain, you know, types of guns that are legal.
That's right.
Yes, that's. She's a caring,
in the Dianne Feinstein
person.
World, there'd be virtually no problems.
Exactly. When there's no choice, there's no problem.
It's perfect.
Yes. Now, Norway and Singapore have officially declared no restrictions for COVID, and they say that it is no longer a pandemic, but it is actually an endemic, meaning we're just going to have to live with it like we live with the other flus.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, Singapore is 80% vaccinated, but it still has high infection rates. But they're confident their hospitals can handle it.
But they're very clean there in Singapore.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you can
can't
get,
even spit on a sidewalk.
Yeah, get fined for dropping a cigarette, spitting on the sidewalk, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And other stuff, too. I don't know. They still execute drug dealers? They used to.
I was surprised the pathogen even arrived in Singapore. It's so clean.
Yeah. Well, the Asian people, you know, they're used to using masks. Not that masks actually help here, but, I mean, there was no resistance to it because oftentimes their cities are polluted and they wear masks for that, and then they always do get a lot of viruses coming through. So
Right.
they didn't have the contention over it that we have here. And maybe they're not as authoritarian as we think they are. Maybe they actually believe more in harmony and social cohesion. And that's just the way they've developed over thousands of years.
Sort of culturally.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not America.
No, definitely not.
We come from a different tradition of argumentation, dispute, and resolution through democratic processes, at least in the last couple hundred years. And we're not about to give that up.
And did you hear about that video that's emerged that shows Fauci and HHS officials plotting for a new avian flu virus? Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Breaking
you
here.
You mean Saint Fauci of Wuhan? That one?
Yep.
Boy, the left, you see some of the things the left puts out for him, and they really do think he's a saint.
There's a movie. He's got a movie.
Yeah.
Or some sort of a documentary or something.
And then in his home, he's got religious candles, like maybe some Mexicans might have sent them,
Right.
you know. Oh, my goodness.
They know a different person than we do.
And you laugh when I say we're dealing with secular Puritans. That's what we're dealing with.
But one thing is certain. He is a globalist.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's certain.
that's very
That's
very
a given.
revealing.
Yeah. So, you know, New York City has been in the news, but actually a lot of businesses in New York appear to be doing the same thing as the businesses in Moscow, because only 10 violations have actually been reported to de Blasio's Vax Police.
You're not telling me they're just ignoring the
Apparently, a
requirement,
lot of them
they?
are.
Oh, no kidding. Wow. Those
They'll have to send New York's finest after them.
those New Yorkers, I'm telling you.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsythe Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now, back to the show.
Hey, welcome back. Talking Truth to Power. I'm your host, Brendan Trainor, and I'm here with Leland Faegre. And, you know, there's an interesting studies coming out from England, the UK, and also applies to America, apparently. And I've seen some independent confirmation. I've seen more than one doctor talking about it. And that is that America and Britain may have been misapplying or giving, I can't think
Administration?
of the word. Misadministrating the vaccines to all the patients.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. It seems that...
what are the odds of that?
It seems that the manufacturer actually recommended that you perform a process called aspiration, which is when you it's supposed to be intermuscular.
Right.
The needle is supposed to go into the muscle. So what you do to check it is after you insert the needle, you pull out the syringe, and if you see blood coming back into the needle, then you have to pull out the needle, throw it away, and do it again. Now, the reason why that is because if you see blood coming in, then it's no longer intramuscular. You probably hit a vein. And if you inject the vaccine directly into a vein, that means it could go down to the heart.
Do CVS pharmacists know this?
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I think they injected me all right, but apparently it is a problem, and we do hear stories, especially young people, having heart inflammation problems after getting the vax. So
right. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they can directly link it to that, but that was definitely an interesting study because the manufacturer recommended the process, but the World Health Organization and the country's public health organizations have neglected to recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. But, getting back to the struggles.
All they really care about is whether we've gotten the jab or not.
Yeah, whether it's effective or causes side effects. Could it be like an assembly line? Bing, bing, bing.
Oops, I missed.
Maybe in the future they'll have little drones that'll come into your home and just jab you in your home, so you wouldn't have to go out. And there's more evidence. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but I've heard more people talking about it, that we are being led to severely overestimate the number of hospitalizations and deaths. Close to half of admissions continue to be confirmed as asymptomatic or mild symptoms. Mm-hmm. And deaths that are ascribed to COVID are oftentimes not the principal cause of death, but so somebody died with COVID rather than from COVID, is what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And they get a lot of financial incentives from government and insurance to mark someone as a COVID admittance or a COVID fatality.
We really have to straighten out the dissemination of information in this country.
Yes.
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what.
For reasons like that.
Exactly. I mean,
did you see that Europeans are second-guessing Biden significantly now?
Europeans are?
Yeah, Europeans.
Oh, yeah.
There's a report from the Euro Council on Foreign Relations, and majorities in key member states now think the U.S. political system is broken, which is something we can see for ourselves.
Yes.
I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness.
Well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. On a daily basis. Matt Gaetz, I guess he was at a town hall meeting, mentioned that Biden is physically declining, and I think it's pretty obvious.
I think it never disappoints.
Yeah.
But
I know, remember when he did a teleconference with Boris Johnson and the Prime Minister of Australia, and he couldn't remember the Australian PM's name. He called him that fella down under. Uh-huh. Johnson was laughing. He was snickering.
I think we were too.
Yeah. But Biden is shafting Johnson, all because of Brexit. He's a globalist. He doesn't like Brexit.
Right.
I mean, he's more of a globalist than even Johnson is. Yep. So he's hectoring about the Irish problem with Brexit, and but basically Boris has expected to get the trade deal that he was hoping he could work out with Trump. And he's not getting it.
Yeah,
he's
that's
been
right.
shafted.
That was on the table, ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, funny how things play out,
Yes, exactly.
Globalism doesn't work for people who want to be outside of that basic design.
Yeah.
And the UK is one of those places.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's become a little less draconian over there. Now, over in Australia, they finally erupted into massive protests in Melbourne and Brisbane.
Yeah, it looks like it's over in Australia. It's a mess.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they've got some sort of a required test. You check into the system, you've got to...
Well, I don't know if they've distributed that app,
I don't know if
but
it's
they're
implemented
talking about it.
Yeah, but they're talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you get a beep on your app, you have to let the app take your picture and tell them where you are.
Let them know where you are.
Exactly. And there's also a YouTube of some kind of police woman with a mask on, even though she's 20 feet away from the resident, and the resident was in this front yard, and hectoring her about they were looking on social media, and it looks like she's going to be involved in a protest, and warning her against being involved in a protest. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But speaking of that, I mean, Attorney General Merrick Garfinkel.
Because he happens to be Jewish.
Another, look at his picture. I mean, obviously a compassionate...
Are we setting up a Jews in the News segment for the end of the show?
It could be. Actually, he's the pictures that we've seen of him lately, show a very compassionate and understanding person.
Oh, yeah, no, he's definitely compassionate.
Yeah. But he issued guidelines for the FBI that they should investigate parents.
Those radical parents.
Yeah. Who protest, critical race theory or mask requirements, and he said investigate them as domestic terrorists.
Mm-hmm. They look like terrorists to me.
Yeah. Boy, what a great Supreme Court justice he would have made.
What they're going to try to assign as a description of these people are genetically defective descendants of albino mutants.
You're a lying dog-faced pony shoulder.
I mean, they're burning the midnight oil coming up with this stuff.
I know.
Nobody's buying into it, but they know they only have a year to pull it off. So let it go.
The left always overreaches.
They do.
They can't get something
overplaying their hand.
Yeah. So.
And what about Christmas? Are we going to be able to celebrate Christmas this year?
Like I said, St. Fauci of Wuhan has said
too early to.
Yeah, too early.
Too early to know whether we can celebrate
that's
Christmas.
A couple of months away. We can't possibly plan for that.
I don't have anything for you on that, and we'll circle back with you directly. I can circle back. I'll circle back with you.
But I hear that Biden's open to having visitors. Did you hear that one?
It is a home, you mean personal visitors?
Well, I don't know. Psaki said that.
Oh.
Maybe she'll get back to us on that. But
yes.
She mentioned it during the week that he's open to having visitors
for Christmas.
Like he's in some sanitarium or something,
Shut up.
He's open to visitors. By the way, how's your government social credit score? That was one of the questions I was going to ask you today. Have you checked that?
Oh yeah.
Because the purpose is to so alter the United States that it can be comfortably merged with China.
Uh-huh.
China's the standard now, and that's what Australia is proving as we witness what they're doing there. So it's all about the Western world becoming...
This is worse than China, man.
Yeah. That's my point.
The social justice thing in China is greatly exaggerated, and again, it's seen through the prism of our culture, not their culture. But we're becoming our own version of what our worst fears are about.
And what
China.
New York did to the healthcare workers. You either get jabbed or you're out of here.
Right. How many have been fired? Do we know?
Thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, they've gone from heroes to zeros.
Right.
Just like that.
Yeah.
They don't matter at all.
No.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and that new governor of New York, what's her name, Haruchi or Haruk?
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah. She gave a talk that sounded like a Puritan sermon.
Uh-huh.
She inferred that if you didn't get the vax, you would, you're going against God.
So she wanted us to be her apostles.
Yeah, exactly. This is like a cult. This government is becoming more and more cultish every day.
I think in a word, it's despotism.
Uh-huh.
Or desperation.
Desperation.
They just can't help themselves but reveal that they really don't know how to lead anymore, except to authoritarianism. And we don't want that, so that's their...
This generation of elites is incompetent? Is that what you're saying?
Kind of, yeah. That's one way of putting it. But they see it as a fait accompli.
Yeah.
And we can't obviously allow that to take place.
No.
The fate is... our fate is at stake, so...
We have to get them really upset again like they were in 2016.
And you see where Bannon is actually inciting his audience.
Oh, yeah.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Hey, welcome back to Talking Truth to Power, Nevada and the world's Freedom Talk Radio. I'm your host, Brennan Trainor, and I'm here with Leland Faegre. So we've had Hunter Biden in the news recently.
Yeah.
You know, the president's son, the smartest man that the president has ever known.
Yeah, that he knows, yeah.
So, arrogance coupled with an authoritarianism.
No, you got the wrong one.
And un-American.
That are you talking about the
laptop? For real, I don't know.
I know, but you know
this
is
I really don't know.
Okay.
The answer is no.
Could have been yours.
Of course, certainly. There could be a laptop out there that was stolen from me. It could be that I was hacked. It could be that it was Russian intelligence. It could be that it was stolen from me.
Yeah, there could be 3 laptops out there, and most probably the Russians got at least one of them.
I know.
Ah, boy. So the emails that were on that laptop were confirmed, including some of the most important ones, like 10 for the big guy. You know,
right?
Yeah.
The big guy being
his father,
Joe Biden.
That's the big guy. Yeah. And
but he displayed his art in Los Angeles this weekend. Did you hear about that?
Yes,
big deal. A lot of people showed up to it. A lot of elites. $500,000 per
vomit exercise,
per
whatever it was.
Per example, whatever that happens to be.
Yeah. But of course, the mainstream media ignored the confirmation of the emails. Rudy Giuliani is still waiting for an apology. Nobody's apologized to Rudy.
Right.
Glenn Greenwald is too, but
right.
Other emails, not from those laptops, his own laptops, but from correspondence that was revealed between other people, show that Hunter, it was about Libya, the Obama administration, when Biden was vice president.
When we ruined Syria?
When we ruined Libya.
Libya? Yeah.
Libya, yeah. And the United States government, as it's wont to do, froze the Libyan assets, including some that are held by private corporations.
Right, I remember that.
So Biden wanted $2 million per year plus success bonuses to get the money from the Gaddafi regime that was frozen up and return it to these large donors, corporations. And, he's going to do it with help from the big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those all around him.
Right.
You know how Gaddafi died?
I know. Yeah, I know. We mentioned it on the show back when a year ago. He was basically sodomized with a bayonet.
Yeah, he was disemboweled.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We really know how to do these things.
Yes, I know. Regime change is our specialty.
And he had disavowed terrorism.
Yeah. It was the most prosperous country in that part of Africa for sure. And he was going to gold. He was trying to do an African dollar. It's a different type of dollar.
They didn't want that.
No.
Plus, they needed Libya as a conduit and a transfer route into Syria. That was part of the whole deal, too.
Right, exactly.
Gun running.
Right. But he didn't get the gig because the people on the emails indicated while they appreciated Hunter's contacts in the White House, at the UN, and all the international contacts he obtained through trips on Air Force One with his dad, they were leery of his drug and alcohol and sex. They said with low-class hookers. I don't know how low-class they were, but sex with hookers, and considered all of those a big negative. So he was never hired for the $2 million a year plus bonus.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Could have used the money.
Yeah.
But fortunately, he discovered the hidden talent that he had of being a patron.
So he could pursue an honest living.
Yeah, honest living, exactly. Starving artist.
Oh, man. Our studio audience didn't think that one was funny for some reason. I'm not sure why.
But you remember the CIA and all the media, including the intelligence community, people like James Clapper.
Oh, yeah.
They were all saying those emails were Russian disinformation.
Oh, yeah, that was, they couldn't let go of it.
No.
Everybody repeating the same lie every time they opened their mouth.
Even NPR, when they asked why they didn't, push the story, they said, "Well, we don't do non-stories. That's beneath us.
Yeah,
as the elite globalists we are,
with our tax dollars,
working with our tax dollars. Yeah. So more and more fake news." Intelligence operations generated by the CIA are being confirmed regarding Russiagate. For example, the Alpha Bank secret server,
right.
that the Trump campaign had this secret link to a Russian bank, and Trump was sending state secrets through this link.
From Comey on down, that was the whole deal. It was that Alpha Bank.
Yeah.
This is CNN.
And it's hard to believe, but CNN has suffered another massive drop in primetime ratings. And we mentioned this on the show last week.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I was ahead of the story or whether the Gateway Pundit was late to it, but I just see it's posted here with today's date. So it's really something that they can't hold their dumbed down audience any better than they do.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, there are still plenty of blue check liberals out there on social media just completely exposing themselves for the idiots they are. Then there was the Afghan bounties. Remember that? Where Russia was paying the Taliban to kill American soldiers. That was a big hoax. And then Hunter's emails. The latest fraud that's been exposed, although good journalists exposed it 2 or 3 years ago when in Cuba, but the Havana syndrome is that Russia had developed a secret new sonic weapon that attacked U.S. embassies by causing them migraines and hearing disruptions,
disorientation.
Right. Well, they finally had to admit, and even the Vietnamese embassy a few months ago.
Right, they were concerned about Kamala going through there.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of been confirmed once again that it's nothing but mating crickets.
I never met anybody that had the condition, so I can't speak to it.
Oh, my God. What would you do without the CIA to keep us informed and able to appreciate what's going on in the world?
And what would our listeners do without this humor to lace throughout all this serious stuff we talk about? Los Angeles City Council has passed COVID vaccine mandates for restaurants, bars, gyms, shopping malls, and theaters. So they're shutting that place down again. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And there's another thing about Russia that came in the news there. The CIA is apparently in the WikiLeaks business, but they're only going to release information about people that live in countries they don't like.
Oh, I see. Selective dissemination?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they put out something, what was it called? The Pandora Papers or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And when they put it out, they had a picture of all these. It looked like the kind of picture you see on movie posters when the stars are like bunched together and, different sizes doing different things.
Right.
And Putin was the biggest figure. He had the big, he was the most upfront person, but he's not even mentioned in the Pandora Papers. He's a supposed girlfriend. It was alleged she was dating him 20 years ago. She has an offshore account. And Putin's father's friend's son was also mentioned as having an offshore account. But not Putin himself, but they got his picture.
See, you've really arrived when you have an offshore account.
Yes,
don't
exactly.
You? I mean, that's
wouldn't that be sweet? And, it does make sense to have different offshore accounts.
Diversify your holdings?
Yeah, diversify your holdings. Get more than one passport. As long as you don't have an American and Israeli passport and you work in the State Department overseeing Israeli affairs, that I wouldn't encourage. But, I have an Irish passport as well as my American one.
Do you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think the EU is cracking up, but when I
don't even have an American passport. I have no plans to leave.
I don't know if they'd let me out if it came to that.
Yeah, that would be another issue, yeah.
But if I could get out, then, I could use it in other countries, I guess. Originally, but it's changing now because the EU, you're supposed to travel freely throughout the EU, but with COVID...
That's how they sold it. Yeah.
That's cracking up now. Mm-hmm. They've got a fence going on between Poland and Belarus.
Mm-hmm. Mean old Belarus.
Yeah.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
No.
Well, 3 more companies have joined Evergrande. You know that. You heard that story, right?
Yeah.
So, I think we're looking at a real slowdown.
Yeah, well.
Manifesting as we speak.
Well, you mean internationally?
Yeah,
I don't think it'll
internationally.
be contained in China?
No, I do not.
Well, we're going to see. I know the Chinese government bailed out Evergrande on at least one payment so far.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. The demand for this kind of thing was overextended.
Yep.
How long can you bail that out?
Yep.
Getting to know you.
Let me tell you about America Matters with Eddie Floyd. It comes on every Monday at noon. Don't want you to miss it. That's America Matters with Eddie Floyd.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now, back to the show.
I hear they're pulling over on the freeway waiting for this segment. Sounds Jewish.
Hey, welcome back to Talking Truth to Power. And I'm Brendan Trainor here with Leland Faegre, and it's time for another Jews in the News. But you know what, Leland? Nothing in this segment could be construed. We're going to defend the honor of the Jewish people, so I don't think we have to give the ADL official disclaimer today.
All right.
And, if I'm wrong, we still have security backup.
We do, yeah. They're right there, so.
So now we're going to talk about the Secretary of Doom.
Uh-huh.
It's been 75 years since 6 million Jews were gassed to death in steam saunas and turned into furniture and cleaning products. And now the Germans have finally discovered the woman responsible for all of that.
About damn time.
Yes. 96-year-old Irmgard Furkner was due to go on trial September 30th for complicity in the murder of more than 11,000 people and attempted murder of many others when she left her elderly care home in a taxi and disappeared.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow. The taxi cab driver did obviously know who she was.
Yes. Well, they're trying to find out.
Okay.
They want to know.
So you think there could be conspiracy involved
Yeah,
here?
there could be
okay.
It could be a vast anti-Semitic conspiracy, of course. We have those all the time.
Okay.
And so the court put out a warrant for her, and the dangerous fugitive was captured shortly after in a subway station because evil can't run very fast, especially when the forces of good are on its heels.
Mm-hmm.
So the charges against Imgard allege that between June 1943 and April 1945, she assisted those responsible at the camp in the systematic killing of Jewish prisoners, Polish partisans, and Soviet Russian POWs. But in her role as a stenographer and secretary to the camp commander.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, they're very valuable people.
Yeah.
Stenographers.
I'm sure she made a lot of decisions about who's going to live and who's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Her prosecution is the first for a woman involved with the Third Reich. This type of thing comes from the successful prosecution of John Demjanjuk, who was sentenced for complicity in the Sobor death camp, although he was only a prison guard. Now, many people think that evil has a diabolical face like the Joker and Batman, but top Jewish influencers believe evil is the face of a 96-year-old woman who worked as a secretary at a government facility more than 75 years ago. Now, attorney Christoph Ruckel, speaking for Holocaust survivors, said, if someone remains silent in such a trial or does not show up, it is rather shocking for these survivors because after so many years, they actually think that one could be more reasonable about it.
Mm-hmm.
The Jews she helped kill are a pure people and innocent people who only wanted to help the Germans by providing them with low-interest loans and a Jewish Freudian psychiatrist to improve their mental health.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of the plan.
The evil Germans repaid them with the gas. Holocaust survivors have related the horrors they witnessed Furcher perform. They saw her drowning babies in buckets, throwing Jewish babies in the air for target practice, making mattresses out of Jewish women's hair, chopping Jewish hands off and sewing them back on the wrong arms, and countless other horrors inflicted on the innocent Jewish people. These stories told by Holocaust survivors are all 100% true. Do you think Jews lie? Jews are the paragons of truth and arbiters of morality, of pure, good people. All you have to do is look at one to see the aura is bright blue surrounding them, denoting moral goodness. If you compare the faces of Jews and Germans, you will soon realize that Germans embody evil in its physical manifestation.
Well, look at Angela Merkel.
Exactly. Her aura is all black and red, and thunderstorms going on inside it. Throughout history, Jewish people have been discriminated against due to racist, anti-Semitic tropes designed to prevent them access to the highest offices in the land. It is hard for Jews to even barely survive in a racist, anti-Semitic society when denied access to the best country clubs and upper-class smoking salons. The horror the Jewish people have had inflicted on
Quite a
them.
fate, yeah.
Yes. Once in America, it was rare for a Jew to be a congressman or a judge. Thankfully, those days are over, and America is better off. So we must put the Germans in their place if we want morality and honest business practices to once again flourish.
So, yeah, because we've held them back.
Exactly. Yes. For so long, exactly. And, you know, once they have gotten the power that they so richly deserved, you know, they have used it for the good of all.
Uh-huh.
You know? Christoph Hobner, vice president of the International Auschwitz Committee, told the German press the escape attempt showed contempt for the survivors, and also for the rule of law. It also highlighted potential shortcomings in the justice system, he said. Even if the woman is very old, could not precautions have been taken to prevent her from fleeing? Where did she go? Who helped her? For Ephraim Zuroff, an American Israel Nazi hunter who has played a key role in bringing former Nazi war criminals to trial, the conclusion to be drawn was clear. Healthy enough to flee, healthy enough to go to jail, he tweeted.
Damn right.
The suspect had been declared fit to face trial, but only for 2 hours a day, according to the German paper Der Spiegel. Faegre has not done herself any favors by running away. Anyone who can make off alone in a taxi early in the morning at this age is presumably also in good enough health to face a trial.
Now, how do you spell that name? Just for the benefit of the FCC.
Zuroff?
No,
Faegre.
Yeah, okay.
Faegre.
Just want to make sure the FCC isn't breathing down.
Ingmar Faegre. Now, thankfully, she was swiftly, recaptured so German justice can torture her for whatever life she has left to teach the Germans the world will not tolerate turning Jews into furniture and cleaning products.
No, we won't tolerate that.
No. Never again will any Jew be turned into furniture or a cleaning product. Period. You have Joe Biden's word on that.
Yeah, well said. Terry McAuliffe admits that Joe Biden is unpopular in Virginia.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that race is really coming. It's going to be a squeaker, isn't it?
Yeah. He put his foot in his mouth recently, didn't he?
Well, he came down on parents, said parents shouldn't have any role in the education of their children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is typical status, public education.
Which is what they all believe, It's all about them, not about us.
No.
We choose truth over facts.
And Biden said we risk losing our edge as a nation.
I think he's lost the edge off his fastball.
Well, what I was about to say is that he, as a globalist, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's what they want, actually.
That's exactly what they want. Yeah, but that's what he's postulating to the American people, that we risk losing our edge as a nation if we don't.
I thought we were back.
With respect to the spending spree.
Oh. So we have to keep spending.
If we can't go into debt, we're going to lose our edge as a nation.
Because it's who we are.
Yeah.
Debtors. We owe the world, but the world owes us.
Because, the idea is to turn all of the domestic conflict into racism. That's their agenda. It's really simple.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have to think about it. It's automatic, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It comes up. It's easy. It's right off the tip of your tongue. And
yeah.
And after all, we're nothing but genetically defective descendants of albino mutants.
Now I get what you were saying about that.
I just love that expression. I can't get enough of it. Yeah. But this is where we're at.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
We're on the threshold of this new world order.
The thing is that so many white people, white Christian people, let me put it that way, European descended people, are good with this. They think that we are awful. They think their own people are awful. Mm-hmm. And these people, the ones that we've been talking about on the show, they're superior to us. And they deserve whatever they get.
Well, fortunately, there are more of us genetically defective descendants of albino mutants than there are of them.
So far, but not after 1945.
And by the way,
2045.
Where is Susan Rice?
We haven't seen her. No.
Since the administration came to us.
I'm sure she's behind the scenes somewhere. But we haven't seen her speak or anything.
So I'm going to believe until I suggest where it's suggested otherwise that she is in charge of domestic policy, as her description suggests.
That's where her description is.
But I mean, she's pulling all the strings. She's pushing the buttons. She's shutting him off in press conferences. She's the one. And she has a direct ear, Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah. They're best buds. BFF.